Hi, I'm Lisa K. Donner, along with Andrew Moran, Sarah Cowgill, Jeff Charles, and Scott Cosenza. And this is the Conservative 5, Liberty Nation's online TV news program. The price of a dozen eggs has everyone clucking on social media. Yes, Henny Penny, you were right all along. The sky is falling, and it's past time to squawk about it. Well, whether the sky falls or not, the price of eggs is a sign of the times when it comes to the economy. How will we do it? Oh, Andrew, are you and Henny Penny on the same page here?
Well, first, I'd like to say that I'm ecstatic to be talking about this subject.
We have to count the number of really bad egg puns we have here, too.
We have several.
No, don't egg them on. Don't egg them on.
Okay, we're up to 2. Who's keeping the list?
No yolk. It's just no yolk. Come on.
Oh, 3.
It's exciting. I'm saying it's an exciting subject.
We're already having a shell of a time with this segment.
Oh, my goodness. 5. All right, Andrew, you're our economics guy.
So there are many factors impacting the reason why egg prices have soared 60% over the past year. And, now the national average is close to about $4 a carton. If you're in California, it's above $7. The first is, of course, production costs and input costs. You have skyrocketing diesel prices, which is soared about 30% over the past year. Animal feed is up 8%. Utilities are up across the board. Labor costs have increased. You have labor shortages throughout the egg producing sector. You look at some of the Bureau of Labor Statistics numbers, and you see that actually employment has steadily fallen since 2015. So they don't have enough manpower to produce enough and to support the demand. And of course, the immediate headline grabber is the avian flu. That thing, which is lethal and contagious, has killed about 43 million egg-laying hens over the last year. So whether it's for pasture-raised eggs or generic bred eggs, there's not enough supply to meet this demand. So of course you can have skyrocketing price increases, and most economists and industry observers say there's not going to be any relief for another 3 to 6 months. So you got to pay more at the supermarket for your eggs.
But if you had to lay a percentage on it, oops, I didn't mean to say lay. But anyway, all right. If you had to put a percentage on it, how much would you say is the bird flu, and how much is it economic? Is it like a 50-50 thing, or is it 75 the bird flu and 25?
Well, I mean, if you speak to most market analysts, everyone keeps talking about the avian flu. So perhaps that would be the main cause of the factor. But I mean, you speak to a lot of farmers. I mean, I recently saw this interview with one farmer over in the UK, and he was talking about how one of the big issues facing producers and why they're not producing enough is that supermarkets are not paying the egg farmers more for their products. So the price of everything goes up, but it's not accounting for how much egg farmers have to invest in their products. So supermarkets are partly to blame, but then of course they're trying to protect their shoppers from even more price inflation on the food front. So I mean, this is a complex situation, and I don't think it's just primarily avian flu. It's a myriad of factors. And then of course, if you want to go into the Austrian economic side of the thing, you could say that there's more units of currency that was pumped into the broader economy that's required more dollars to pay for the same amount of goods, which I'm sure Scott will know about, or Jeff, who I will say he's studying economics, so perhaps he'll know as well.
All right, Jeff, I'll let you have at the egg story here.
Well, I haven't studied up on eggs in general, but I have been looking more into this stuff. And to me, it's just whether it's Biden's fault or Democrats' fault or not, it is part of the overall political conversation. So I'm looking more at the politics of this stuff. And, the economic issues were not enough to give that red wave that people were expecting. But as things get worse, I mean, Joe Schaefer wrote a piece about this a while ago. For Democrats to really suffer, it's probably going to have to get worse, and this may be an indication of that. I don't want to be blackpilled, but at the same time, when we're looking forward to 2024 and both Democrats and Republicans are figuring out who they're going to run, if these issues persist and if they do get worse, if people continue paying more for eggs and other types of groceries, for gas, then there actually could be a reckoning for the Democrats in the not too distant future.
Sarah, unless I'm mistaken, a while back it was bacon that was skyrocketing. Now it's eggs. Do we have a Biden war on breakfast?
Sounds like it. Sounds like we need to start going with the oatmeal option. At the local.
Buy those frozen concentrated orange juice futures.
Yeah, no. I'm blessed to live in a rural community, and Yeah, the eggs at the local stores are probably $5.99 for an extra large dozen, which isn't as horrible or as good as some places, But the blessing I have is there are chickens everywhere. You just walk across the street and get a dozen eggs. Farmers come in all the time and sell them, and the farm fresh eggs, picked up out of the nest yesterday are going for about $4 a dozen. So I think it kind of depends on your environment. When you don't have fuel costs, that fuel surcharge is going up, hugely everywhere, getting things from farmers to the local stores. So, you've got a lot of things in play, which is the good reason for living in a nice local rural area. That's the good reason.
Scott, you and I have been grocery shopping a time or two, and, it just seems to me that I was telling somebody the other day that I can't go guilt-free egg shopping anymore. It's like, do you want cage-free or do you want to pay $5?
As we were talking about, I was just listing the different things that now they get you to upcharge like $2 each. There's local, organic, small family farms, and pasture raised, and that bumps the egg crisis rate up to like $8 basically.
I feel so guilty, buying non-cage free eggs.
Absolutely.
Now,
boy, I know what I'm bringing you guys next time I visit the neighborhood.
Farm fresh eggs.
There'll be dozens.
I think the solution is just to start
eggs.
getting chickens. I mean, that a lot of people are doing that. They're
skip
just
the
buying
bourbon
their
and
own
go
chickens.
straight for the eggs.
I was going
my
to say that
sister
the
had
one piece of
chickens. That's not
legislation,
easy.
the one piece of legislation that could actually help this is statewide legislation to eliminate local towns banning of letting people have chickens. You don't have to have the 6 a.m. rooster call, but my neighbor actually set up when the pandemic first hit, a really nice little chicken thing, and then one of the other neighbors called, and he had to, send them off to some other farm because
you can't keep chickens in your backyard. Plus, there's all manner of. My sister spent all this money, building a coop and everything. She's got plenty of acreage, and then an animal just came and ate her chickens and roosters, and that was the end of that. I mean, that's a pretty expensive deal.
In Toronto, you can actually
got to be
raise
smarter than the
chickens.
possum.
You can actually raise chickens in your backyard in Toronto. It's been actually a rule, a thing you're allowed to do over the last few years. But if I say one thing before we go, I think, you talk about bacon. I think another issue you should be watching is the price of beef and veal. Now, beef and veal has actually come down significantly. I think it's down about 5% year over year. But I've spoken to a lot of industry observers, and they make the case that the reason why it has fallen is because a lot of these ranchers, they've killed their cattle prematurely because they can't afford to raise them because of the high cost of water, high cost of diesel, all this stuff that's contributed to the problem. So now you're going to have an issue heading into 2024 is that there's still not enough, there's not going to be enough supply to keep up with the growing demand that there's going to be for beef because the prices come down. So it's going to be a cyclical event where, in the next couple of years, beef is going to go up yet again, maybe not to the extent it was a year ago when it was up, 30%, but perhaps will be up again about 10%. And also when you think about inflation too, I mean, yeah, the price of let's say, bacon or something has fallen 1% year over year, but it doesn't take into fact that the prices have increased dramatically since the pandemic level. And will it fall back to pre-pandemic levels? Right. Most unlikely.
Well, not everyone has the luxury of living next door to a coop of laying hens, and wouldn't that be nice? But in the meantime, add a bit of cream and scramble those yolks well for better coverage, at least according to Sarah Calgill. That's it for our Conservative 5 panel today. Check out our other C5 shows and segments on your favorite video platform, YouTube, Vimeo, Rumble, we're on them all. As well, Liberty Nation has its own Roku channel where you can see all of our TV productions. Special thanks to our fantastic editor and post coordinator, Frank Diorio, and our executive producer, Sarah Calgill. I'm Lisa K. Donner, editor-in-chief. Thanks so much for joining us today. This has been a production of LibertyNation.com, where truth is making a comeback.